UFC 237 this weekend, and it's headlined. We're going to do a little preview on it, and it's headlined by a big women's strawweight title fight, which I remember when this fight was being marketed, when we knew this fight was going to happen. We knew this fight was going to happen as soon as Jessica Andrade one punch KO'd Karolina Kowalkiewicz last year. And she was also coming off a big win, just dominant win over Claudia Gadelha. And I can compare Jessica Andrade to like a female Vanderlei Silva. Just the way she throws her strikes, tucks her chin, throws the looping hooks, comes straight at you with wide left hooks to follow by wide right hooks. But the amount of power that woman has for a 115-pound woman is unreal. And she's fought, I believe, as high as 135. I think she fought Raquel Pennington at bantamweight in the UFC. And she's going against probably the most underdog champion. I mean, Rose Namajunas is becoming a very beloved character, I think, as a champion. But if you get this underdog feel from Rose Namajunas, or maybe it's just me, but I felt that way both fights with Joanna. She's very likable. And I feel that way going into this fight. Like, she's got this underdog vibe, that there's this chance that she gets her jaw rocked by Jessica Andrade, who is just a powerhouse. So I think this is an interesting matchup. I'm looking very much forward to it. I'm actually looking more forward to this than I was the Joanna fight rematch with Rose Namajunas, which I've rewatched that fight several times. I thought that fight was a very close fight, a lot closer than what people realize. I thought the commentary was so skewed. I think that I love Rose Namajunas, but her likability kind of affects the UFC commentator booth, I think, a little bit. And they were definitely kind of pulling for her in that fight. You get the sense. So I'm interested to see how this fight turns out. And what's your thoughts? What's your initial thoughts on this main event, Miguel?
Yeah, I think it's a tough challenge for Namajunas. I think she likes that. I think, she sought it out as far as those things go, where she wanted to fight her in Brazil and that sort of stuff. I think Namajunas, I think you're right. Here, I think the UFC really has something unique. And, if she keeps winning, they're going to have to not let her turn into Demetrius Johnson, where they just, have her fight every couple of months. They should really, try to do something with her in terms of media and marketing and stuff. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't want that, because she's kind of, but what I'm getting at is that personality of hers, because she's a real genuine person. She wears a lot of that on her sleeve, So I like that about her, and I like that, this challenge here. With Andrade, you're going to get the Vanderlei talk. I'm going to beat her head in, and that's it. And that's cool, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, Namajunas is walking into the fight as an underdog, or, Andrade is at -120 with Namajunas paying back even money. So it's a real tight fight, close to a pick'em fight down there. So Namajunas is getting a little bit of respect in terms of she's the champion, the defending champion, and she beat the man in the division kind of thing, the top gun, and then repeated it even though it was a tough fight. So I give Namajunas a lot of credit, and I think, here's the situation again with Pat Barry and some of the coaching that she's receiving there. You may have a guy who maybe is more suited to coaching than in his career, where sometimes things went wrong for him in the ring.
I actually believe, Miguel, I'm going to differ with you a little bit. I think Rose Namajunas could be one of the biggest stars in the UFC. I think she could be a huge draw for them.
I think that's what I was trying to say. I'm sorry if I wasn't that emphatic, but I think you're absolutely right. I'm sorry.
Well, you mentioned her. You compared her a little bit to Mighty Mouse Johnson, which I loved. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Mighty Mouse is one of the greatest fighters ever.
Well, I hope they don't turn her into that. Okay. I hope they don't let it go that way with her, because I think they've got a real diamond in the rough. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay, yeah, because if she's able to pull off wins over somebody like 2 wins over Joanna. If she can get through Jessica, if she can get through a Tatiana Suarez, I mean, all these fights, she's going to be an underdog. And if she's able to get these wins in, she's young. She's got this really humble personality. I mean, I've ran into, I've had my buddies' girls and stuff over here watching fights and stuff, and they've made comments like, "Oh, I love Rose Namajunas. She's just so humble, and she's appealing to. She's got an appeal to her that a lot of people really like, and I'm almost guaranteed that It's almost gonna be unanimous about people are gonna be rooting for her. Not everybody thinks she's gonna win this weekend. Not all my clique that comes and watch the fights with me. Not pretty much. I mean, Jessica's a feared opponent, but I do think that she's a very likable character. And one thing that's really interesting with this, and it goes back to the whole Conor McGregor bust incident, and I'll tie this in real quick. She was the co-main event that night when Khabib ended up fighting Al Iaquinta. He was supposed to fight Tony Ferguson, then Max Holloway, then he fought Al Iaquinta. The famous, just infamous bus incident. She was on that bus. She got really shook up. Apparently, she saw a counselor and everything about it. And I guess she was shook up for months. Well, she got a lot of ridicule. That was the only time that Rose kind of got some ridicule. She's been pretty much universally beloved. She got some ridicule over that, just kind of made fun of on the internet for being just kind of weak and stuff. Well, that was her main motivation, apparently, for taking this fight with Jessica Andrade in Brazil. She did not need to do this. And for her to go down to headline this pay-per-view in Brazil against such a tough opponent like Jessica Andrade is really saying something. I think it's very risky for her, but I think it's a move that could turn her into a big star if she gets through this, especially with a very impressive performance.
Exactly, and I hope that happens for her. Even though with her personality, I think she may not embrace it like Ronda Rousey did, kind of thing. You know what I mean? But I think she deserves it, whatever the rewards are, because I think that first of all, she's a hell of a fighter. You know what I mean? She came out through the TV show. She's been with the UFC in the women's divisions, coming along. And when she faced off against Joanna, she was a big underdog, so you got to give her a lot of credit. So, yeah. So, how are you looking at this fight? Are you ready to make a pick or what?
Yeah, let's go ahead and look at the odds on this stuff. We've got, as you said, it's women's strawweight title fight. You got the champion coming in at plus 100. And you got the challenger, Jessica Andrade, coming in at minus 120. I do want to switch up the wage range format a little bit with you here. I want us both to make a pick here, man, with this one. Just to go against each other a little bit. I'm going to say that Rose is able to implement a lot of the same game plan that Joanna did, and this is just a gut instinct. I think there's a big possibility that she catches a very hard shot from Jessica Andrade that hurts her. She did a really good job of making Joanna miss. And she's got very good in and out movement, good side-to-side movement. I think she's only going to get better. She's young. She's advanced. She's improved tremendously since she first came into the UFC to where she is now in a very short period of time. She's had a long layoff. I think that she's probably gotten a lot better in that span. I think that she's going to be able to move her feet enough to outbox Jessica Andrade. I think she's going to have some moments where it's going to look rough, but I think that she'll land the cleaner shots, land more shots, and maybe even mix up a takedown in there. This was hard for me, but I'm going to go with Rose Namajunas by a decision, but it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I think she's fully capable of managing the fight here. I think Andrade, a girl who, as you stated here, has incredible power and is a powerhouse for a 115-pounder. You start to rely on that, and then all of a sudden somebody with a little bit of technique and skill, Rose will take her chances playing with you for 5 rounds. Andrade, can she manage a 5-round fight? Is she going to have that power entering round 4 after she's been eating a jab for a little while, getting maybe front kicks, keeping her at bay, and been swinging and missing for a heck of a lot of time. So it'll be very interesting. You know, if you look at the ring, MMA records and stuff, it's kind of a superficial thing here because it looks like Andrade has, more than double the fights of Namajunas and stuff like that. But I credit Namajunas and her time around the UFC and the camps that she's been. She really does, have more experience almost than an 8-3 record would show. Now defending her belt, she does have an amateur career, and then the whole time with the TV show as well. So she's a pretty battle tested girl, and at 26, she's still not even in her prime. So we'll see.